Stasa23 here. In today's knife therapy, we have the Null Knives Voodoo. This is the second design from Null Knives. His first was the Raiden, and I got in on that pre-order. And by the time this video comes out, I might have already received it. I don't know yet. Let's get some specs out of the way. This is actually what the knife comes in. What an awesome idea. A nice pouch, Velcro right here, zipper part with a big pocket. I think this is wax canvas. You can put a knife here, pin here, or pry bar, put a notebook back here. I bought two of these because he sells them on his site for I think 20 bucks. And they got a few different colors. I bought two different ones, and I'll have two that come in because I'm going to get in on this pre-order as well. So let's get into it. First off with some specs. You have an overall length of 8 1/4 inches, so it's a full-size EDC knife. You have blade length of 3.67 inches with a cutting edge of 3.5 inches. You have a grip area back here to the back of the knife of 4 inches, or if you choke up all the way up here of 4.76 inches. Handle scale thickness of 0.53 inches, and a close width in the pocket from here to here of 1.31 inches. Blade stock thickness of 0.15, and the behind the edge thickness on this particular knife is around 18 to 20 thousandths, sharpened at 20 degrees per side. All right, let's take a closer look at this. You have a interesting and polarizing blade shape. I find it very, very attractive. You have a harpoon. You have a clip point right here. And then you have a very, very gradual belly. It's kind of hard to see if you look at it, almost like a warnie, but it does have a slight belly, gradual taper all the way up to that tip. And you have a hollow ground swedge up here. And your blade finish on here is a nice like mirror stonewash, or that reflective stonewash look. I absolutely love that. Probably my favorite finish on a knife. You have the Null Knives logo right here, and you have this pocket on both sides that has a blasted finish on there. As you can see, it's on both sides. And also you have a blasted stonewash finish on this hollow ground swedge up here, which I think gives it some awesome contrast. Hopefully that's coming across in the video. It's darker up here just by a little bit, and then you have the dark spot right here. I think it just looks really, really nice with the way the light plays off of it. Very, very interesting. You have a forward finger choil that I can fit my finger up nicely. You have a very precise needle-like point for piercing and doing detailed drag work, which I think this knife is really going to shine. You have a deep hollow grind on here, like I said earlier, that comes down to a pretty thin edge at around 18 thousandths and I think about 20 thousandths in the back over here. So this knife should perform outstanding. Why don't we find out? After the first slice into this cardboard with this deep hollow grind, I was grinning ear to ear because it just felt, if you know what, a knife that's ground decent, pretty thin with a hollow grind, it just performs so much nicer than something thick behind the edge. And this one just had me excited right off the bat. Now we're going to test the ergos and how that edge is still biting. And I wasn't really putting much thought into this because this is a prototype. I'm not the first one to get this knife, but the edge still felt pretty good, and to my surprise, this edge was really good. The handle was very, very comfortable. Did have a little minor hot spot on a part of the clip, but I think he's fixing that. And the knife just wanted to bite, and wanted to bite deep. It was, like I said, for the most part, really, really comfortable. I was locked in pretty much the hammer and saber grip. That's what I mainly used. Man, that needle point makes it perfect for doing these type of cuts. I mean, the dragging, detailed cuts, outstanding, coupled with that hollow grind and the sharpness of this blade. I was kind of worried that it'd be hard to cut on the flat surface. For the most part, it was no problem, because the knife, even though it looks like it's a straight edge, it does have a very slight belly to it, and it was performing nicely. At least right now, I didn't feel like I had to lift the material up. Now it is gonna, dull out that front portion rather quick, because you don't have a whole lot of contact with that cutting board, but it performed all this nicely. I think it has something to do with that angle, the way the edge is angled up some, and lots of bite going through the denim. I was going to skip the sisal rope cutting altogether, but I wanted to see how it would feel to cut on the flat surface doing this, because this is where usually a knife will struggle, especially like a Wharncliffe. I pretty much need to lift it up onto something to give more contact area. Now, once again, I'm using all that front portion by the tip, but it performed it nicely. The pinch grip was comfortable. Once the knife was still really sharp up there. I did a lot of push cuts. I don't know exactly how many I did, because I wasn't really counting, but I think it was around 28ish or so. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that cutting. I enjoyed it a whole lot. So now let's take a look at this action. It's riding on ceramic bearings with a ceramic detent ball. And this is another part of the knife that really shines. Just watch this action. And this is a prototype. You have this newly designed thumb stud or tab or whatever you want to call it. This one has a little bit of little bumpiness because he dropped it on the cement before it came here. So let's see this side. This is how it looked normal. And usually I don't like that. But on this one, the way it's got the two sides on both of those, like kind of like a triangle, and it's tapered down. It just right where my finger lands, my thumb lands. Nice detent. The reverse flick, even better. And if you wanted to, you could use the pocketing. Very nice. Now, even though it's not tapped for a left-handed carry, I can easily deploy it left-handed, and I can reverse flick it left-handed as well. Slow roll it. Now, I don't know. I think I missed. I didn't say it in the beginning, but the blade seal on this is Bowler M390. I like how he hit it. So whenever it's open, you do not see it. And when it's closed, it's just a nice, different font as well. I like that a lot. So very nice action. The only thing that I will say is that whenever you disengage the lock, the knife has a detent ball ramp. I don't know if you can see, but I can see it right there. And whenever you disengage the lock, it's on the detent ball. Let's see. Right here is where the ramp starts. It's on the detent ball ramp, on it. And right there is where it clears the detent ball ramp. So whenever you disengage it, if you pull it like right there and go to shake, it doesn't want to go, which is something that, is easily fixed, and he may be fixing that. We'll look at the end. He has some revisions on his paper. We'll check it out. But just something that I noticed that just felt funny. I've learned to drop the knife further down, and then that way I don't have an issue. But we will see if that's something he plans to change. Now let's take a look at the scales. Now this is beautiful in itself. The closed profile on this knife I think is very attractive. And you have a very interesting looking pivot. Super cool. Looks like a meat tenderizer right there. Love it. It's pretty much countersunk. A little high side on here on this side, but that's because these scales are contoured. The same on the opposite side. You have Torx T8 throughout, except for this little thing, and that's understandable. You have a very cool looking design for the bolster up here that's got a nice blasted stonewash finish. Nice dark finish on there. I like that a lot, especially with this natural canvas micarta. The micarta is the good stuff, and it has a good texture to it, good grippiness. You have a chamfer here and here, and like I said, the scales are contoured. This is another place where when you dropped it, it hit. You have a very interesting titanium backspacer. I like that extra little, style there. It looks cool. And then you have this little spot right here. Your knife is centered up. Your blade to handle ratio is outstanding, about 1:1. You can't go any further than that. The inside the knife, there is no internal milling because they did all this milling here for the micarta, plus they contoured it, so that's going to relieve some of the weight. Your balance point is right there, which is good. And why don't we check out the weight real quick. First off, in grams, 113.3 grams or 0.2 and 3.993 ounces. Outstanding. The knife is tapped for tip up right hand carry only with a very nice looking 3D milled titanium pocket clip. I think it looks really good. You have some ramp there and good spring tension. It's blind screwed, just meaning it's screwed from the inside, so you don't have a screw right there. One thing that I do know that he's fixing, something he told me about, is he's insetting the clip a little bit further into the micarta, because right now it has a tad bit of wiggle, and that's common because micarta, when it gets thin, is not really strong. So you definitely need to, get it down, pretty good ways so you have, more strength side to side, unless they put like a second retention point. But let's check it out in the pocket. I must say the knife goes in and out of the pocket very nice. I had no issues in my jeans or my shorts, and that's how much you have sticking up. And the way the pocket clip is shaped, it cants the knife a little bit this way, so it really hugs this side. You don't have anything that's going to poke you on the way down. Now let's take a look at the lockup. This one is sitting at around 30-40%. It has a hardened stainless steel lock bar insert that is good, so you don't have titanium on hardened steel, and if it wears out, you could change it out. The lockup on this knife, when I say is rock solid, no play up or down, no play side to side, bank vault lockup on this one. The access to the lock bar is good because you have this cut out here, plus you have a perfect chamfer right there to where it's not sharp on the top, and so can you see that? You get some nice little texturing that gives it a nice visual effect, kind of goes with that pivot a little bit, and it's very comfortable to disengage that lock, at least for me it is. Quick size comparison, we have the Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Smock. Next up, we have the Chris Reeve Sebenza 21 large and the Strider SNG. Lastly, we have a Hinder 3.5-inch XM18 and the Hogue Ritter RSK. All right, now for my nitpicks and complaints. We kind of talked about them, but we'll touch on them again. I talked about the detent ball ramp being kind of late where it gets off of it, which is like right there. So it'd be great if they'd shorten that up a little bit. Also, I don't know if this is ever going to be an issue, but just something to note, where the knife, when it locks up, where it hits the stop pin, as you can see, it already has a mark right there on there. It's just a flat surface. So what that means is over time, it could eventually get up and down play. Not saying that's something that will happen, but you usually want to see it curved around it. But I understand why, because that goes along with the aesthetics. And like I said, I don't know if it would ever be an issue. Right now, it's solid. You can see, like on this Hinder, let's see, you can see how it's curved right there in that middle spot. That's so you have more contact area when it comes to locking up. And one last thing that wasn't really a problem for me because I adjusted for it, but depending on your hand size, I have a medium-sized hand. I wear a medium-sized or medium to large glove. These 2 points right here, it'd be nice if they were softened a little bit on the peaks of it, just because sometimes my fingers landing on there whenever I was, doing harder cuts, and I could feel it, but I was able to adjust. And whenever I choke up, my pinky goes in front of it, so it's not really an issue. But if you had a larger hands, then your pinky might be landing on it. So I don't know. It's hard for me to say, being that my hands, can maneuver around it. I also, whenever I was doing the wood cutting, whenever I was bearing down hard, I did feel something on the pocket clip. Let's see, where was it? Yeah, right here. Just the tip of that right there. It's not sharp, but you see how they got this chamfer right there, so you don't have a hard edge. You don't have one on there. So real quick, I'm going to give y'all the tentative schedule. It's supposed to be around October 27th. There you go if you want to pause and read that. And here's the price. So for your natural micarta, you can pause and read that, $3.45. It's a premium small batch knife, so you have the blue micarta version. Now this one has an acid wash blade. That's why it's $5 more. And the black micarta version is $5 more because you have the PVD coating on it. And then the most premium one comes with black camo fat carbon. I have that on my Oz Machine Roosevelt, and I love that material. And also you get a glass blasted pocket clip and spacer, and your pivot is black PVD. So that one's probably super sexy. So that's the price list. And I just noticed he has the revision. So let's see. Okay, so we have the depth of the pocket clip. Yeah, we talked about that. He told me about that. Is going to be lower, so that's awesome. Oh, sweet. Okay, the detent ball ramp right now goes that far onto the blade. They're going to shorten it there. That's perfect. So you shouldn't have that problem like I was talking about at all. And even better. Look at this. The clip is a little sharp on this edge right here, and that is what I was just talking about right there. And he's going to add, let's see, chamfer. Yeah, chamfer will be added. Also, reduce the size of the logo by 25%. I don't think it really looks bad, but okay. And increase the harpoon fillet. Top soften. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it could maybe round that. I don't know. I mean, I did some cutting like this and I didn't really have any issues, but I guess being that it's a thinner area, it's not sharp or anything, but all those things are, positive things and awesome. All the things that I talked about are being addressed. So there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. And yes, I will be getting on this pre-order. You can betcha. All right, guys and girls, I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.